can you, and this, I think you covered this earlier, can you program keys differently? For example, one key for one child and one...
One for the good kid and one for the bad kid?
For our first generation, one setting applies to all keys.
Okay.
And again, all the keys look alike, so it's really hard to manage what keys behave as with what restrictions.
Yeah.
So it's for.
But
Gen
you're
1,
investigating that?
We're investigating a lot of things for Gen 2. So.
How about if instead of making the radio go mute when you don't wear a seatbelt, what if it just blasts Lawrence Welk?
That could also have a desired effect.
Have the same effect, I think so, yeah. Or your mother going, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
Very disappointed in you.
Very disappointed, yes. What else do you want to tell me about this that I might have left out? What other aspects to this MyKey technology? As I mentioned, we're taking your questions or your comments about your mother in a car, MyKey, about to be a part of all Ford vehicles over the next couple of years, starting with the 2010 Ford Focus later this year.
During the when Andy's team went and to get the voice of the customer, one thing that was interesting in it is the parents wanted an early low fuel warning. So typically a vehicle will give a low fuel warning at 50 miles to empty. So for MyKey, what we did is we activate the low fuel warning at 75 miles to empty. Because teenagers tend not to return vehicles with too much gas in them. Yeah. So the next morning when Dad's trying to get to the golf course or wherever he may be going, first thing in the morning, instead of having to go to the gas station, hopefully he has enough gas to get to where he's going and get the gas on the way home.
Yeah, I remember on the way home when he used to go, give me $1 worth before I go home. Remember those days?
Yeah, sometimes a quarter's worth.
Maggie, what else?
All right, Culture Garage says, just logged on now. Do you expect insurance companies to give discounts to families who use this feature?
Yeah, we talked about that, and I guess you're anticipating that, and I'm probably working on a marketing campaign for that.
Well, the insurance companies rely on statistics from their actuarialists. So as the proof is out in the marketplace with reduced claims, we anticipate the insurance companies to look on that favorably and create a discount in the future.
So, a year from now, what kind of research are you going to do, and what would you like to see? How are you going to be able to test the credibility of this?
Well, we'll look for customer feedback. We have different research mechanisms for them to feed back to us. We're also going to proactively look at venues to talk to them. The Ford Fund has an outstanding program called Driving Skills for Life to help young drivers learn more about their limitations on vehicles and how to drive safer. And those represent venues where we can talk to people about how's this working for them.
You know what, let's just recap here for a second. Let people see this great Mercury Mariner Hybrid, which is one of the vehicles that has the MyKey technology on it, or will have in the near future. Currently, it is being rolled out on the Ford Focus for 2010, later this year, but all Ford it'll be standard on all Ford vehicles in the not too distant future. We have another question, Maggie.
All right, and the question is from that girl. She'd like to know about newer models. Will the Key ever in future need software updates, and how does that look?
This Key actually, the vehicle recognizes the key, so all the software and functionality is on the vehicle. So as the vehicle's new model years of the vehicles comes out, any updates will be on the newer vehicles. There's no software on the Key.
Yeah, what else would you like to add to it? Let's go into fantasy land.
The fantasy land.
How old are your kids?
I have three daughters and a son, Katie, Megan, Lauren, and Michael. But my oldest daughter's 8, so she has a few years. Now her second grade class thinks this is pretty cool that Dad's working on a system like this, but I'm sure as that class gets older they'll...
So by the time your daughter's driving, what do you want this vehicle to have on it? What do you want MyKey to do?
Boy, that's a great question. It would probably be a truck with with no back seat, but boy, I don't know. Right now, I think with the speed awareness and seatbelt usage, I think if we can at least get that far and make sure they wear their seatbelt, I'd be comfortable with them driving their vehicle. As active safety systems become more available, we're working on a lot of future active safety systems. Like Andy was saying, we had the cross traffic alert and blind spot systems coming out, and the adaptive cruise control and the radar. A lot of opportunity with MyKey. We're going to force those systems on. They can't turn them off, and they are driving aids for the teenagers. And one of the interesting statistics about teenage incidents is they're single car accidents. Due to driver error, excessive speed.
Yeah.
And so if we can use these systems to help them become better drivers quicker, I think it's a good thing for the teenage drivers.
You know, I think you're right. I think of all the accidents that I had when I was a teenager.
Yep.
I never hit anybody else. It was always a tree or something.
Always a tree. Those trees keep jumping in front of you. Okay, so we have two questions that are very similar. Really, how hacker safe is it, and can you get a report on what has happened? You know, what your children have done, where they've gone, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, we kind of discussed that a little bit, but let's talk about it again. You want to grab that one again?
Right now, we don't provide a report with it. The initial feedback has been, a little bit too big brotherish, but we will continue to monitor, see if through real life living with the feature, whether or not that's something they want, as opposed to conceptually when we were talking to them a year or 2 years ago. In terms of hacker proof, what we did was we kind of challenged our young engineers to say, fine, you're closest to the generation that knows about hacking into things of that nature. And based on when we did talk to teens saying, well, they'll try and figure out how to defeat the parental controls on the TV or whatever. Yeah. So I said, well, what would you do? And so Tom and his team has pretty much thought of everything. Nothing's 100% foolproof, but what he did put into it was the ability for mom and dad to know when your child has defeated the system.
Okay, Maggie, what else have you got?
All right, we have a question from Tech Mama, and she would like to know, can MyKey be added to cars already on the market?
That's it. Is this an aftermarket feature or?
No, and we did look into that because MyKey did get such a positive response. But there's some backwards compatibility issues with some of the modules. So it's starting on 2010 model year vehicles, which is 2009 calendar year. It gets a bit confusing, but this year on the Taurus and the Focus and many other vehicles, it will be available.
Anything else? Once again, it's MyKey. It's Ford safety technology. The only car company with this kind of technology to help protect your kids and help them drive safely by keeping the speed down, keeping the radio down, keeping the seatbelts on. Have you got something else here?
Well, I've got a URL that people can visit if they would like to find out more about MyKey. And I hope you can see it in the sun. That's the challenge here. tinyurl.com/Ford MyKey.
That is high tech, isn't that high tech? You want to show it to them again?
Sure.
This is really tinyurl.com, and then if you do this, you can
do shadows.
You can do shadows there. Okay, and that is our report, gentlemen. Once again, MyKey from Ford. My fingers are starting to lose their feeling, so we'll just kind of show it to you there. MyKey from Ford, coming out on all Ford vehicles within the next couple of years, starting with the 2010 Focus later this year. It's right now, it's on this, I love this car, the Mercury Mariner Hybrid, which is going to be a big car for Ford Motor Company. And once again, this is Tom Miller and Andy Sarkeesian,
yes,
the
sir.
guy who really came up with this. Congratulations. And it'll be fun watching the public reaction.
Mike, it's a team effort, okay, yeah. And quite frankly, Tom and the engineers that work with Tom really did a great job on taking an idea and running with it. Their enthusiasm was fantastic.
Yeah. Did you ever guys have a fight during this?
Not at all. Not at all. A lot of arguments, but no fights.
Okay. And that is our live report